For my topic, I decided to do religious traditions of just war. So, just war theory. It's a war that is deemed to be morally or theologically justifiable. It's designed to give qualifications of whether or not it is just to fight in a war. It was developed by Christians and used to justify the use of force. So, the history. Augustine is credited with creating the first real appearance of just war in a writing of morality and ethics of war. He was attempting to Christianize the idea of war. And then later in the 13th century, Thomas Aquinas expanded on Augustine's idea and created the first real theory of just war and wrote the qualifications that we still use today. So, jus ad bellum. This is the law or principles dictating whether or not entering a war is justifiable. With this, there are 5 principles and qualifications. The first is just cause. The best way to explain this is that a state may only enter a war for the right reasons. They can't, go into a war with their own opinions. They have to really justify it. The second one is proper authority. This means that the state or community considering war must have its leaders declare it. So a regular person or group can't just, decide that they're going to enter a war. The third one, proportionality. A state must weigh the universal goods, hoping to be accomplished against the universal evils that eventually come from being involved in a war. The fourth one, right intention. The state entering a war must have a good reason, not just for someone's personal beliefs. And then the last one, probability of success. The state should know the chances of their own gain and outcome of entering a war. So basically, if you know that there's a good chance you're going to lose the war, there's no point of wasting supplies and money to enter it. Jus in bello. This is the laws giving boundaries of ethics and behavior during a war. So there's 3 principles and qualifications that come with this. First one's discrimination. This means that there must be a clear line between aggressors and non-aggressors, with civilians and people that are active in the war. The second one is proportionality. This is different than the one I talked about earlier. This is violence must be managed to try to minimize destruction. Third one is responsibility. This basically means that the people participating in the war must be held responsible for their actions. And then we go into just post bellum. This also has 3 principles and qualifications that come with it. This is best known as laws outlining the principles of just peace arrangements and actions after a war. So the first one is discrimination. Again, different than what I talked about earlier. This shows the difference between innocent people of the war and people who deserve to be punished. The second one is proportionality. This regards the physical winnings of the war. And then the third one, consideration of rehabilitation. This basically is people that are involved in the war should consider helping to rebuild the country where the war took place, because their civilians didn't choose to enter the war, so they shouldn't have to worry about rebuilding their cities. And then realism versus pacifism. Realism and pacifism is very, very different. Realism, or realistic people, they believe that there is no place for morality in a war, and they believe countries should protect their own interests and believe war is necessary. Pacifists don't like war. They don't like conflict. They only sees the morality in the war, which isn't all true, and always believes that there is no just cause for war, and believe war is always wrong, which, in my opinion, that's not always the case. And then an example. World War II is a great example because, as you all know, it was because of Germany and Adolf Hitler with the Holocaust, and a lot of horrible and terrible things were going on that needed to be stopped and corrected, so other countries got involved. And then this is my bibliography. Thank you for watching.